is going to be a slightly more abbreviated session, but we are really excited to have you. I am going to drop the link to the captioning in the chat for us so that anyone that needs it can access it. Oops. Zoom controls, come on, there we go. Oh, come on, Zoom. Behave yourself.
What happened? Oh, I thought you were.
All right, Courtney, I might need you to do drop the link in the chat because my chat is refusing to show up. So, all right. So this session, we are going to be talking about the additional programs that we are debuting this year. I'm excited to share them with you. And we're going to jump in and really start talking about the Jumpstart units. So the image on this page is of our Jumpstart unit logo. So we know that there are a lot of schools with schedules that are really tight. And especially in light of COVID, we know that schools are going to be pressed for time, and social emotional learning time might get compromised this year. It might already be compromised. And in a lot of cases, as I mentioned earlier in the evening, making a year-long commitment to one of our life cycle programs might feel a little impossible right now. So in response to that, we designed what we are calling the Jumpstart units to give schools a way to bring the Nora Project curriculum to their students without that year-long commitment. So each unit in this collection is 8 to 10 lessons in length and could be implemented really flexibly. Lessons could be delivered 1 per day for 2 weeks. You could do them 1 per week over 10 weeks. It could be anything in between. It could be something that you stretch out over the course of the year. We leave the pacing up to you, but of course are here to support you in making decisions about that pacing. These units draw on the themes from our life cycle programs like empathy and friendship, building the skills for strong relationships with one another, emotional literacy and regulation skills, and an understanding of disability as a part of human diversity. Those are all concepts that are represented in these Jumpstart units. They could be used in classrooms during social emotional learning time, or they could be woven really creatively across the content areas. So for example, you might integrate the whole unit or parts of a unit into your English language arts block, or it could fit into a social studies time. And as I talk to you a little bit more about the specifics of the units, you'll, I think, see how that might work. These can fit also if you're teaching a life cycle, one or more of our life cycle programs at your school. We do recommend that you space those programs out so that there's a year gap at least in between students doing each program. And this would be a great thing to teach in the interim between life cycle programs, or of course they could stand alone. And the units could be used in outside organizations as well. There's a lot of potential for them to fit into things like library story times or scout troops, or maybe even religious education programs. So anywhere that you might want to learn about social justice, about friendship skills, about empathy, these units would be a great fit. So these units, being that they are short, will give your school or your organization a taste of the impact that this kind of learning can really have on kids. And we are confident that once you see what a short-term program can do, that you'll really want to engage in our year-long programs as well. So there are 3 programs that fit into this collection. The first one is our Drop Everything and Read discussions unit, and it was modeled after the moment in the day that was very common when I was a kid, but once I got to be a teacher, we didn't really do much of anymore, but it's still something that's very near and dear to my heart. Each lesson in this unit centers around a children's book that will help stimulate conversations about a variety of topics. So it targets younger learners, but the books could really easily be used with older elementary students as well. One way that we might recommend delivering this is as a school-wide initiative. So at a scheduled time and date each month or each week for a period of time, a whole school could pause, and every student and teacher, regardless of where they are or who is in front of them, would stop and teach and do that lesson together. It would also be a great tool to help build culture around how to be a good friend, particularly at the very beginning of the year, to sort of set expectations for inclusive behaviors and build classroom community. So that, again, that unit is targeting students in preschool through 3rd grade, but could probably be elevated into 4th and 5th grade with some slight modifications to the discussion questions. Our empathy and friendship unit is designed for students in 3rd through 5th grade, so upper elementary students. And it draws a lot from our primer pack curriculum to provide developmentally appropriate instruction to help students develop strong, positive relationships with their peers. In this unit, they will learn about identifying and expressing and regulating their emotions, all very important things. Strategies for being a good friend. They'll learn how to adapt to play and create inclusive environments so that everyone can participate and feels like they belong. This unit is a great tool as well to build community at the start of the school year, but would also fit really nicely into social emotional learning time if you have that set aside in your school, or if you do class meetings, morning meetings, this would be a great tool to integrate into those moments. And then the 3rd Jumpstart unit is our Disability 101, and this is for older students. We have designed this to take a deeper look at the disability justice movement, disability history, the progress that's been made over the years towards disability justice, and how far we still have to go. So this unit is really focused on equity and how to achieve equity in our society. Students learn about disability and ableism, and they also learn how to take informed action in their communities and show up as an aspiring ally. And we are really excited about the potential of this unit. We think it would make a great addition to a social studies curriculum. It could also be used during SEL instruction. And these units, they can be purchased and used as many times and in as many classrooms as you wish. The pricing is listed on the screen. And I just want to pause and see if there are any questions about this program before I move on. Okay, I don't hear or see any, so I will move on to our next one. So the primer pack for homeschool. The image that you see on the screen is the logo for the primer pack for homeschool. This year in many schools, we know that social emotional learning time is being cut short because of schedule adjustments due to the pandemic. But during times like these, the thing that kids need the most, truly, is access to social and emotional learning that will help them build those strong, healthy relationships and manage their emotions. So we've designed a version of our popular Primer Pack classroom program that can be used at home, whether you are homeschooling your child or children, or whether you are just looking for ways to integrate some important social emotional learning into your family routine. This program could be useful for you. So just like the classroom program, the primer for homeschool includes a year's worth of weekly lessons, but of course those could be paced out in whatever manner is better for your family. And many of those lessons are based around children's books, while others include activities and videos that stimulate really rich discussion around a variety of topics and will serve to bring your family closer together as you're learning about and discussing these things together. When you purchase the program, you'll get access to a Primer for Homeschool website. And that has training modules to support your implementation and increase your own comfort level with the content so that you go into that feeling really confident. You'll also find contact information for Nora Project staff members, including myself and our inclusion specialist, whom you can support, who you can contact at any time for support, for guidance, for problem solving, whatever. We are here to help you meet your child's needs. So if you have questions about how to adapt or modify program materials, we can help support you with that at any time. And the other thing you might want support with is if you have multiple children that you're working with, how to support multiple ages at the same time in a lesson. Every lesson includes ideas for how to continue the learning beyond the lesson itself. So we'll give you suggestions for how to build on that content and really use the tools so that the learning sticks and the skills become second nature. And when you implement this program, kids are going to learn how to identify and manage their own emotions. We help them to become feelings detectives and better understand others' emotions and the impact of our own behavior on other people. We'll help them learn how to solve conflicts and engage in productive problem solving, and that includes knowing when to try to solve a problem on their own and when to call in an adult for support. We teach them about empathy, what it is, how to demonstrate it, what it feels like and looks like. Empathy is really, it's a muscle, and kids need lots of repeated practice, and our program provides that ongoing practice to help strengthen that empathy muscle. It teaches kids how to be a good friend to all kinds of people. So they'll learn how to be an includer, and they will adapt activities so that everyone can participate. And then, of course, they'll receive explicit instruction in disability awareness, and they'll learn about disability as a natural and expected part of human diversity. That is something to be celebrated. It's an identity marker that a lot of people take great pride in. And they'll learn how to be an aspiring ally and a supportive friend to all people. So the primer pack for homeschool is a one-time purchase, and it can be used as many times by a family as they wish. So that is another exciting product that we're excited to offer to you this year. And so I just want to advance here to see if there are any questions about anything that I have just shared. In a couple of minutes, we'll return to the main room for a little bit of information about how to bring programs to your school and a Q&A.